Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. So today we are cleaning our home and going through the importance of cleanliness. For this episode, depending on viewer and listener feedback, we will provide a video um, moving forward. And with your encouragement and feedback, but today you are listening to our podcast. So we're going through the importance of cleanliness from a martial artist perspective. I'm not a cleaner. I'm not a janitor. I'm not a custodian. That's not what I set out to do. But I am a martial artist. And my martial art mindset provides a unique perspective in that if I have to wear the custodian, cleaner, janitor hat in order for my home, dojo, workspace to feel at its best, then that's what I do. So, as an educator, champion mixed martial artist, North American Grappling Association Naga champion 2 times, as a yogi, training in various arts with special considerations to Iyengar yoga. Um, I believe that cleanliness, purity are foundational. I reside in a beautiful home that we own, and that's questionable and debatable because in today's system, when you have to pay a mortgage, loans, the bank for anything, then it becomes a question of, well, percentage wise, how much do you own? And my family and I are coming from a situation of renting, um, and before that we rented, and before that we rented. Um, the situation is that we lived in a very, 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 very toxic environment in which our safety was at jeopardy, both in our last dwelling. The dwelling before that, not so much, but the dwelling before that, a very, very toxic environment. Very, very toxic environment where we're fighting for our lives to escape. Now, I grew up in a location that prides itself on gangs. I never joined a gang. My gang, for all intents and purposes, was the people who trained at my dojo. We're not gangsters. We're martial artists. We stand for familyhood, and those are the people who, from all walks of life, various creeds, had each other's back, protected ourselves. We are and were anti-bully. So I've experienced a lot of gangs, a lot of gang fights, brawls, um, people jumping others, trying to jump them, and it was a very toxic environment. So I'm a huge proponent of faith, of purity, of self-defense, martial arts, and there's a saying that the best defense is a good offense. So, and vice versa. Um, so you're joining me today on this journey as I go through my entire home and figure out what exactly is home as I sustain our home, as I build our home. I'm against breaking, all the riots, the systematic oppression, fighting. I'm against that. The looting, I'm against it. It's biblical, if you want to quote the Bible for anything, it says it. It's a mark of a fool to break their own home. I'm against it. Um, so I moved my family and I somewhere away from the bullying, away from the criminals, away from the violence. And the location where I moved provided me a job for a year. But it was still within the vicinities of the Midwest, and Midwest being known as a very segregated place, either white or black. And if you're anything else, then you really just have to survive on your own. Still kept proximity with family. We're about 4 or 5 hours away. 4 or 5 hours away from gangs, 4 or 5 hours away from that life that we were used to. It isn't prideful. You shouldn't have pride. It isn't a badge of honor, right of privilege to have gone to jail. I've never gone to jail. Hopefully, will never be in that position. I know that there was a martial artist, UFC fighter, who did what any of us would do. Cain Velasquez protected his child from abusers at a daycare. Someone who escaped that treachery, escaped the abusive teachers. Dana White said it best. That person did what we all would do, yet they still served time, yet they still went to jail. And that's something that in society, that's corruption, that's xenophobia and racism, and these are the systems that we fight against. And I used to run this blog, probably still out there in the world, titled Go Where You're Celebrated, which was recently changed to Be Where You're Celebrated, because then the lifestyle of go, flight, go, just became not sustainable. And Be Where You're Celebrated emphasizes the mindset of we have to cultivate where we are. Sometimes we have to fight for the decisions and lifestyles that we want to live around in the community. We can't control what others do in their house. We can't control what others do in the community. Our best options are voting. Sometimes that's a very slow and superfluous process. So, what a lot of us martial artists, what a lot of us people who believe in holistic lives or Ayurveda do is we live a life of sacrifice our lives for the betterment of all. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I know that this state is proposing in about a month or two to legalize drugs, which I don't want to talk about, because let's make poverty illegal. Let's build more social programs. Let's subsidize education, preschool. Yet the main conversation is about legalizing drugs. Not interested. I understand that there is a black market that we all fight against. But I don't want that to take our energy and be the focal point. And that seems to be the focal point. Everyone talks about that, and other stuff is really not validated. The other stuff isn't really justified or conversed upon, because one thing is controlling the narrative. So that whole conversation on drugs, I feel, is being dictated because everyone wants their drugs. Everyone wants easier access to their drugs. You go to the gas station and light up a blunt or whatever, stogie, or whatever they want to call it these days, dope. And I'm not ready for that. Some people medicate, and that's fine for the doctors prescribing it, I guess. It's a system, but it's a system that's more mediated, and now the conversation is being dictated to drugs. So I want to shift our focus to what I believe social programs and more financial fiduciary opportunity. I believe in education, but I don't believe that education has provided me or my family with the most best lifestyle. Poverty still runs rampant. Student loans. It's another system cranking out workaholics, and a workaholic is a workaholic because most likely they love what they do or finances. For me, to be able to do what you love and get paid for it is a blessing. Now, I used to be a filmmaker, photographer, sometimes a dad man still. And unless you're being hired on by someone or you beg for money, people usually tend to want those services for free. That's something that I fought against, is valuing myself, valuing my time. Everyone always wanted free work. Not only did I have to fight for my degrees, loans, grants, when there were grants, but then it became a fight against, well, we think you should do this for free so you can build up your portfolio. Even though your portfolio is internationally acclaimed and built and you've won awards, and you have a lot of experience, but maybe you can provide me these free services to get a little bit more experience. Do it for a buddy, do it for a friend. I need it from this person, I need it from that person. Everyone always wanted free stuff. I'm not saying the blame game, but it definitely is abusive. Definitely is abusive culture. So I stopped that, and then I got to a field that paid me more, a field that I was valued more. But when the majority culture is xenophobic and racist and discriminatory, then there became less and less opportunities. So my profession is as an independent contractor in education, but it's really hit or miss. It's hit or miss because everyone wants free stuff. It's hit or miss because the white administration, with their definition of diversity, which is a few blacks, isn't necessarily healthy or conducive. You can read more on this in my book, Monochrome Culture, where I highlight no one's innocent in this race debate. It's because your skin is brown doesn't mean that you're immune from racism or discrimination. No. But I do acknowledge certain facts in society, which is that most of the people in charge and power are white. White women do the running around for the white men. The white men start to feel pressure to hire on more minorities and want to be cool, and then they opt to hire blacks because the blacks are the most violent. And the people who are left behind in the trenches are really people with ethnic surnames. Not a black person whose name is Michael McCluskey, whatever. Not your black person named Tyrone McKee. No, it's usually the Angel Rivera's, the Angel Diaz's, people like that. And it's interesting because my anthropology degree has taught me that, and this is actual research, that whites consider the ideal minority to be Asians. So Asians are over there shining everyone's shoes, well, the white men's shoes, and the blacks over there being glamorized and eroticized, even though they're monocultural, monolingual. And the group that really is most used and abused are the Latinos and Hispanics. Because not only do you face being brown in this country, you face, well, you don't necessarily speak English, even though you may. You experience things, discrimination, prejudice based on who you are on paper. You have an ethnic surname, you can't get away from that. So even though my family has served this country, the rewards have definitely not outweighed the costs.